Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. President Obama and the Muslim world. That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. At first, the president took a soft power approach toward the Muslim world, hoping that by being sensitive, he could convince a majority of Muslims that the USA was not their enemy. That, of course, in response to the Bush administration's hard power approach. On June 4th, 2009, Mr. Obama said this in Cairo.
Islam has a proud tradition of tolerance. We see it in the history of Andalusia and Cordoba during the Inquisition. I saw it firsthand as a child in Indonesia, where devout Christians worshiped freely in an overwhelmingly Muslim country. That is the spirit we need today.
Well, that soft power approach has failed. Might have been a good try, but it has not worked. Here are the facts. Compelling evidence out of Pakistan shows that the government there was protecting Osama bin Laden. When U.S. Navy SEALs finally caught up with bin Laden, the Pakistani government imprisoned the man who helped us find him. Dr. Shakil Afridi, a Pakistani surgeon, was sentenced to 33 years in prison. That is a direct insult to America, which gives Pakistan more than $2 billion a year in aid. In Afghanistan, where more than 2,000 Americans have been killed, the government under Hamid Karzai remains corrupt and largely uncooperative in protecting Americans. Many Afghans openly support the Taliban, and our 11 years in that country have been frustrating, to say the least. In Iran, that country is openly defying the USA and the world, continuing its nuclear weapons development. There's no question Iran is America's most dangerous enemy. In Egypt, the Muslim Brotherhood now controls the government, and anti-American demonstrations are commonplace. As you know, the Egyptian government has failed to protect the American embassy, which was looted this week. Despite that, the USA continues to send billions of dollars to Egypt. In Yemen, the weak government there cannot control the terror group al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, which is headquartered in that country. Also, violent anti-American demonstrations are breaking out in Yemen, driven by the jihadists. In Libya, there is chaos, and the weak government there obviously cannot protect Americans who are in the country. Ambassador Christopher Stevens was a longtime friend to Libyans, but was assassinated on Tuesday. So you can see the evidence is overwhelming. Much of the Muslim world is not friendly to the USA, despite President Obama's outreach. So now it is time for America to change its strategy. Talking Points does not believe it is smart to openly antagonize any Muslim government, with the exception of Iran. That country will most likely have to be dealt with by military in some fashion. However, Mr. Obama has an obligation to punish governments like Egypt, which allow attacks on American citizens. Let me repeat, the president must punish the Egyptians. We are living in a dangerous world. The president's first priority is to protect Americans, period. And that's the memo. Now for the top story tonight, another point of view. Joining us from Washington, Congressman Keith Ellison, who himself is a Muslim. So where am I going wrong here, Congressman?
Well, you're going wrong because you're grossly overgeneralizing, and you're forgetting about all of the Libyans who held up placards today, which were visible to American eyes on TV, saying that they apologize, that they love and appreciate Ambassador Christopher Stevens. And you're forgetting about the fact that both in Yemen, in Egypt, and in Libya, that these governments have apologized, and that these radicals, these troublemakers, who you correctly identify are troublemakers, don't represent the vast majority of the people who live in those countries. I mean, and then again, you make the mistake of that only focusing on the Arab world. You forgot about what President Obama said about Indonesia, also Malaysia, and other parts of the world that have Muslim majorities that are not in Arab countries.
All right, so you're telling me, number one, I wasn't generalizing, I'm very specific. I mean, you can run it down. Pakistan, not a friend to the USA, hurting America. Afghanistan, despite all we've done, still not a friend to us. Iran, an absolute danger to us. Egypt, used to be a friend. Now that Mubarak's out, they're not a friend any longer. Even President Obama said that today.
But he didn't say they were enemy, though.
Well, he may. I'm not going to say that Egypt is an enemy to the United States, but I am going to say the Egyptian government knew the demonstrators were going to attack the embassy and didn't stop it. Now, you, as a sitting congressman, have to take that seriously, and you have to say to President Obama, we can't be sending them money. if this continues, and we have to punish them. How would you punish the Egyptian government for what happened this week?
Well, first of all, I want to get to the bottom of the facts. I think there's a lot of things that we just don't know.
Nobody's denying the Egyptian government didn't know beforehand that this was going to happen. Nobody's denying that.
We don't know that, Bill.
Yeah, we know it.
Here's what we do know. We know that
the embassy,
Morsi,
no. The embassy in Cairo even says they knew the attack was coming, which is why they issued this statement that, hey, we're not your enemies. They knew it was coming. So come on, let's not play games tonight, Congressman.
No games being played here. What I'm saying is we don't know what they knew. We don't know what assumptions. I think there needs to be some serious conversations within the United States and Egypt.
Well, there has been serious conversations for the last year.
But to leap to a conclusion that we should punish someone, I'm not sure that the evidence supports that at this point. And the last thing we need is to basically make matters worse. What we need to do is to figure out exactly what Morsi knew, when did he know it, and then insist that they protect our embassy as we protect the Egyptian embassy right here in the United States.
Even if it's, and believe me when I tell you, it's going to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt that these attacks in Cairo and Libya were coordinated on 9/11 as a direct act of war against the United States. So when you get that, and you will, all right, then you say what? You must prepare for something. What are you prepared to do if indeed that is proven? What are you prepared to do?
If you let me talk, I'll tell you.
All right.
Well, you're mixing up Libya and Egypt.
No,
They're
I'm
two
not.
different countries. You absolutely are.
Just stay on Egypt.
The Libyan government apologized. The Libyan people apologized.
Fine.
And so you just can't say Egypt and Libya. They're separate, and we have to deal with them separately.
I'm saying that the attacks were coordinated by the jihadists in both countries. But let's stay on Egypt. If it is proven the government knew, what do you do?
Well, first of all, we need to know. You want me to assume what we would do? I don't even know what we would find out until we investigate.
So you're not willing to say, you don't even thought about how to punish this government? Then
I've thought about it, but there's different paths to go down depending on what the facts are, and we don't have those yet, Bill. So what you're trying to get me to do is to commit to a course of action without even knowing everything we need to know to make a good decision.
Well, I mean, you've got to think about what you are going to do when, and not if, when. All right, the facts come out that the Egyptian government certainly knew this was going to take place, and they did. You know they did. I mean, you don't gather hundreds of jihadists in the middle of Cairo. You been to Cairo, Congressman? Have you been there?
About 3 times.
Okay,
no,
so
4 times.
You know the military authorities can knock that down in 10 minutes if they want to. If they want to, the military comes in, bang, and knocks it down.
Last time I was in Cairo, there were public protests going on. As I was there, I could hear them out of the window when we were trying to talk to
Egyptian officials. It's a difference between protests and an attack.
No. But you don't know if the Egyptian officials knew there was going to be an attack or thought it was just a protest.
Well, the American embassy says they did, and that's what I got to go by. All right, Congressman, we appreciate a good debate. It's always a good back and forth with you, and we appreciate it. Next on the rundown, Laura Ingraham on whether Mitt Romney is handling the Middle East violence correctly. And later, President Obama campaigning on pop radio. Is that a wise thing to do? We're coming right back.